I'm Joe from PopXcast, where science fiction meets pop culture. Part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and the opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find more stunningly awesome geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Start with your tone.
Are you telling me you built a time machine?
There is no school.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Well, let me finish them, please.
I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
Welcome to the Sci-Fi Sunday podcast. I'm your host, David Dawson. It is Star Wars Day, December 19th. Officially, the film The Rise of Skywalker releases on December 20th, but we caught the early screenings tonight. With me at those screenings were my sister, Teresa.
What's up?
My good buddy, Brian Davis.
Yo, yo.
And our other good buddy, Mr. Mike Peterson.
Hey there.
So what we're going to do tonight is a spoiler-free, quick recap, because I want to respect people's guilt on this film for a little while. So we will reconvene again sometime next week before Christmas and put out our spoiler-filled review of the film. But for tonight, I want to get first reactions, general consensus on what we thought of the film overall, and if we feel like the Skywalker Saga has found a good conclusion. Did J.J. Abrams spike the football or didn't he? Teresa says he spiked it. Brian says he spiked it.
Yeah.
Mike says he spiked it. I think he spiked it. I personally really enjoyed the film. I don't know if it's my favorite Star Wars film or not at this point. I'm going to need to see it a few times to really kind of absorb everything that happened. But this movie moved fast. It was exciting. And even though it went places I kind of expected it to, it also kind of went places I didn't really see coming. And I was overall very much pleased with the experience tonight.
Yeah, I agree. I was very impressed with the fast pace that it jumped from stuff to stuff. The emotional roller coaster and how it really hits the heartstrings some in moments is very well done. This is definitely. It's probably going to be, I think it's probably going to be my favorite. I really think it's probably going to be my favorite. I will obviously watch it more times before I make that final, but I think it might be. I really think it might be.
I went into this. Oh, go ahead, Brian. Go, Brian.
No, go ahead.
I went in this a little iffy. I wasn't able to join you guys earlier today because I was flying at 6 a.m. Eastern time. But I was not the biggest fan of Last Jedi. Now, watching it over again, I appreciate it way more than when I first saw it, because I hadn't watched it for 2 years now. So the fact we've been doing this every week has been amazing and really, I think, helped watch this film. And just the culmination of absolutely everything. There's nods to all the stuff. Not like incredibly fan serviced like Force Awakens was, but I thought it wrapped everything up very well. I was blown away by so many different things. I'm with you, Dave. I'm going to have to watch it at least 2-3 more times to give it a guess if it's going to be my favorite or not. But I'll say this: the third film in each segment, the prequels, the originals, now this end has always been my favorite.
Yeah, you like endings.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it did a good job of tying up all kinds of loose ends and giving nods and just all kinds of little Easter egg type of deals, but like blatant Easter eggs. So it's not like, I'm sure that, as David will attest from watching all the cartoons and stuff like that, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that you could really find Easter eggs from all the different shows and stuff like that. But just from the movies, the little things that they nodded to and such were really good.
I actually think the film is full of fan service, and I say that in the best way possible, not as a bad thing. Because I am a consumer of the novelizations. I'm a consumer of all of the animated series. I take that huge deep dive in the current Star Wars lore, and there is so much in this movie to unpack between the 9 films of the saga now and all of the hours and hours and hours of expanded animated universe. They brought a lot of stuff in from Clone Wars and Rebels for, sharp-eyed and sharp-eared fans who are paying attention. There's something for everybody who likes every aspect of Star Wars to enjoy in this film. It is a real testament to J.J. Abrams for finding a way to weave together so many storylines. And I said it this morning, one of my worries was kind of the weight of everything this film had to carry on it. 42 years of expectations leading up to the conclusion of this 9-episode arc. And, people will say, well, it wasn't really going to be 9 episodes. It was 3, and then it became 6, and now it's 9. Well, I remember as a child interviews with George Lucas where he spoke about the fact that he wanted to do a 9-episode series, and that's what we have. We have the complete 9 chapters of this saga. And for me, it's something I've looked forward to pretty much my entire conscious existence. And that's an incredible amount of weight. Somebody was asking me what I thought the difference is between the Marvel cinematic universe and the success of that versus the kind of fan division and stuff that's been happening in Star Wars. And it's precisely that. It spans so many more generations of people, so much more time of expecting. It's a huge burden to bear as a storyteller and a filmmaker. And my hat's off to J.J. Abrams. This movie, on first viewing, is about as good as I possibly could have hoped this movie to be, based on all of those expectations and weights that were put on it, and the difficulties of having to work around the fact that Carrie Fisher passed away before the film was made. And I thought they masterfully worked their way around that. Utilizing footage that they had of her from when he worked with her on The Force Awakens. Tastefully done, respectfully done, and along with all the rest of the characters that made appearances in this film, I thought just a wonderful send-off for all of these characters that we've all loved for so long.
Exactly.
There were so many jaw-dropping moments in this that got the entire theater literally jumping up in their seats going, what just happened? It's so good.
Yeah. Yeah, like you were saying about the different universes, like how Marvel and Disney and such, and how this universe has spanned over 40 years of us, growing up with these characters, and Dave and I were talking about it before with all of the legend stuff that was eventually put into Legends. But even that is you grow through those books and such, and you have a certain idea then of how the things should be. And that was one of the things that was really hurting Star Wars over the last couple of years was people had expectations and had preordained ideas that the way things should be. And, not everybody cared for the direction that things were going. But I do think this film is good. I think it does help all the factions that
I think there's still going to be people who complain about it. And I think that's an inevitability based on all the weight that it's carrying.
Oh,
but I think it's as close as what we could hope for a conclusion.
Look at some of the early reviews and yeah.
I mean, I think for us, especially, we spent the time the last 7 weeks rewatching all the films leading up to it. And I'm really glad that we actually accomplished that and did it. And actually, because we started doing it, a couple of our other friends were like, that is a great idea. And so they did it too, which then just made them, one, remember a lot of things that just don't really remember, because others, you remember all the big stuff in the movies, but you don't remember all the meaty little pieces. So rewatching it for the purpose of this is the end we're going to end with, kind of like for me, made me really try to just really focus in and pay attention to see what did I miss in the millions of views I've watched these before. What have I missed? What am I missing in here that I might need for this end? And I'm super happy we did it, because there was a lot of meat and potatoes to those movies that really came through for me in the end here. And if you haven't, if people are listening, I suggest it. It's super helpful, because they really did tie it up, in my opinion. They brought it all together. And I mean, they brought it all together. I don't know all the different universes, the expanded universe stuff, but I know bits and pieces of it. I have seen little bits and pieces. So yeah, it's phenomenal how they were able to do this. And I'm ecstatic. Can't wait for more people to watch it.
I'm eager to see what the overall fan reaction is. I know in the last 48 hours or so, there's kind of been a mixed bag of reviews coming from the early screeners. But, I think some of the press people are a little shell-shocked from giving great reviews to The Last Jedi and then having people rip them apart for not liking it, and I think everybody's being a little cautious in their reviews of the film right now. But yeah, it's somebody described it in a review this morning in their spoiler-filled review as, everybody likes to watch the guy who spins plates on rods on stage. But not because you like watching the plates spin, but because you like watching the guy who's spinning the plates and seeing if you can see him seeing the same thing you're seeing when a plate's starting to drop. And is he gonna catch it and fix it? And how long can he keep the plate spinning in the air? There's a lot of plates spinning in this movie. And I think J.J. Abrams did a really good job of keeping them spinning. It's a dizzying ride. Like, be prepared when you go in to watch it. There's not a lot of moments to take a breath. Like, you are just on this wild ride for over 2 hours. But it's a fun ride. And we talked a lot when we did the Force Awakens review about the joy in that movie. And there's a lot of heavy moments in this film, but it is also filled with a bunch of joy. Those three main sequel characters are together for almost the entire movie, which is wonderful. And it's the first time, actually, where all three of them are together.
Yeah.
doing stuff together through the movie. And it was really great.
That was an important message throughout the movie and such was, it's about your friends and family.
Speaking of which, Teresa, I'm glad I got to sit with you tonight for this final film and my final chance to read a scroll to you, opening crawl.
That's why I said you're getting.
I was super happy that I got to do that with you. The lifetime of reading the crawl.
Spoiler free, but holy crawl. How that thing started. Jesus.
Yeah, right from the boom, from the first two words.
That took a
two
turn.
words, you're like, whoa.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
That
escalated. It escalated.
So, I look
did
forward
not see that coming.
That was them saying, okay, what's the most important question people are going to ask about this movie? Okay, let's just answer
really
right
look forward
now.
to us doing our full review in a few days. And I'm definitely going to squeeze in at least one or two more viewings before we get to that. But yeah, my initial reaction.
I need to go one more time.
How do I get paid to watch Star Wars?
Reaction is it's a wonderful movie, definitely worth your price of admission, and I highly suggest you see it on the big screen because there are moments in this movie that just won't play as well, even on a HD or 4K screen at home. This is one of those movies that has to be seen large, for sure. Yep.
So much going on.
Yeah,
and
I loved John Williams' score
in the theater is really important.
Oh, and
tying together all the themes from everywhere. Yeah. It's so masterfully done from arguably the greatest film composer of all time.
Yeah,
just fantastic. So, guys, it's late and Peterson's been up since god awful 3 a.m. our time. So,
3 a.m.
yesterday.
So I think we'll go ahead and call this spoiler-free review done. And my thanks to all of you guys for joining me on the film review journey for the last, better part of the last 2 months. I know it's been hard to get it in, keep the schedule and whatnot. Yeah. I appreciate all the effort everybody's put in to be a part of this. I think it really enhanced my enjoyment of the film tonight. And I hope that those of you who've been listening in have gotten a lot from what we've had to say and maybe helped you appreciate things in the films that you didn't quite see before. And, let's watch the movie a couple more times in the next few days and then come back together and just go nuts talking about all the details.
Sounds
down.
Good.
Yeah, I think that would be a great idea. We can do a full season recap for The Mandalorian. And January 1st, Doctor Who comes back. So I'd like to be reviewing those episodes as they come out too. Very curious to see where Doctor Who goes in the new season. So until then, guys, may the Force be with you. Have a great night. Thank you all for listening to our reviews for the last couple months, and we got the one more big one for this movie in a few days, but we want to make sure everybody has a chance to go see the film without us, ruining it for you. Yeah, lots to process.
Well, and we gotta process.
I wonder if they'll let me drag my iPad and my pencil into a screening so I can take notes. The media people do. I think I can do that.
Take notes.
Turn the brightness down.
If you sit up on the back row.
Sit in the back row and turn your brightness almost all the way down.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Take care, and we will talk again very soon.